أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نويت الأربعين نويت الاعتكاف نويت الخلوة نويت العزلة نويت الرياضة نويت السلوك لله تعالى العظيم في هذا المسجد أطيعوا الله وأطيعوا الرسول وأولي الأمر منكم. الله أكبر الله أكبر. أطيعوا الله وأطيعوا الرسول وأولي الأمر منكم. In the previous session we have mentioned about the importance of when everyone is sleeping, you wake up, that if you want to keep that remembrance of Allah in your heart, and this is the quickest way to reach Him. As we spoke about the story of Sayyidina Shah al-Naqshband and how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rewarded, which we did not continue that, rewarded Sayyidina Alauddin Bukhari. He rewarded him to marry the daughter of Shah al-Naqshband, who was the king, for example, if we can say that, king of spirituality, tasawwuf, and he was the king in Bukhara, and he was the king in wealth. He was the most richest. Don't say, oh, why awliya Allah has money. No, it's not your business. Awliya Allah, they know to whom they give. If Allah wants to give them wealth, will give them. Allah gave Sayyidina Abu Bakr, gave Sayyidina Umar, gave Sayyidina Osman, gave Sayyidina Ali. They were very rich. Don't say no. Al-Faqr, to be poor, is to show you don't show yourself in front of the rich one. Because you cannot come to the rich one who created richness and compare if you have some wealth in dunya, compare your wealth in dunya and say, oh Allah, I have wealth, so I am rich. No, you are still poor, and you are always poor. The real poor is the one that shows, although he is rich, he is showing humbleness and showing, Ya Rabbi, I am your servant, and this money or this wealth doesn't make me more than your servant. You are al-ghani, I am al-faqir. You are the rich, I am the poor. So Sayyidina Shah al-Naqshband, he was very wealthy, but his heart was poor to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He doesn't use his wealth for his own benefit. He used his wealth for bringing people more, and Allah happy with him. So Allah rewarded Alauddin al-Bukhari for what? His student, because he was up at night when everyone was sleeping. So if we want to achieve something, we have to do it means in the hidden. Don't, like people today, they say, oh, we gave this much money for this organization, and they announce it and declare it and make a lot of issue about it. You want to give in the hidden. So Sayyidina Alauddin Bukhari was in the hidden worshipping. He doesn't come to his sheikh and say, oh, today I finished 100,000 times zikrullah. I finish 100 times salawat. I finish this, I finish that. No. Why the Sheikh needs to know? He knows already. You must not give yourself to give the self an injection of pride. To say, I did this, I did that. So, when you wake up at night and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide you to a real guide, at that time you are finished. What you are finished means when Allah sends you a guide, Allah will answer your, if it was sincere dua, Allah will answer. If it is not sincere, many times you don't get an answer. If you are really asking for a guide, Allah will send you a guide. And guide doesn't come except with sincerity of asking. And when the guide appears in your life, you have to put in your mind that he has with him a whip. Don't think he is bringing with you a box of chocolate. What he is bringing with him?
Whip.
A whip. You know the horses in racing, what they do with them? Huh?
Whip them.
Whip them. The horse, what he does? Moves faster. He doesn't say to his rider, cavalier, you know, French. What's cavalier in English?
Jockey.
Huh?
Jockey.
Jockey, yeah. He doesn't say to his jockey, I call you jockey. Yeah. He doesn't say to his jockey, why you whip me? He understands that he needs to go faster. So he's happy with the whip. He doesn't complain. If someone whip us, what we do? Oh, means yet we are not a horse. The horse goes faster. Then he whip him. Goes faster. Whip him. Goes faster. Whip him. Goes faster. As much as you are whipping, as much as he goes faster. Then you cannot anymore control him. He went so far. Sometimes this jockey would fall down. Cannot. But the most important is knows the whip is there. And if he is not whipped, he will not go faster. When you whip him and goes faster, what that mean? If you whip him and he stays in his place, what that means? He's a bad horse. He's not going to achieve anything. He doesn't want to move. But as long as he goes faster, as long as his price goes up, because he will win the prize, isn't it? This race, they do race to see which horse is faster. All these jockeys, they have whips. When you find a guide and the guide come to you, don't think he is coming to you with a... He's going to ride you and whip you. One murid came to his sheikh and said, oh my sheikh, I love you, I found you, I want to be with you. He said, okay. He said, accept me at your door as a donkey, trying to humiliate himself. He said, for what? To ride you? I'm riding all this, is enough. Means when you accept him as a guide, he will substitute your ego from riding you, and he will ride you to guide you to the right place. Because now our ego is riding us. Right? Huh? Correct? Who's riding us now?
Ego.
Our ego is riding us now. This doctor, he wants to show himself that he is riding his ego. He is eating everything raw. Only vegetables, but it has to be raw. It's not easy. He's trying to break down his ego. Can you try it? You cannot. So he's suffering. He is making his ego suffer to make it to eat raw. But from other side, he doesn't know that shaitan is tricking him. Say, oh, you are now the best one. You survived. You survived 2 months and a half, 3 months eating raw. You are good. So on the other side, little bit his ego is trying to pull him back to ride on him. See the tricks of the ego? Now the ego is telling him, oh, you are so good. No one did it before you. You are the best because you can eat raw. And I know one lady here, she teaches the children. Her age is 65. From beginning of her age till today, she eats raw food. She never ate anything except raw, not cooked vegetable even. This is good in one way because it crushed the ego. It's not easy. MashaAllah, he's very good. So you have to raise the whip 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, raising the whip against your ego. Or else your ego will come against you. So the Sheikh So what Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani is saying, he's giving a message to his student. He's saying, لا ترفعوا عصا المجاهدة عن نفوسكم. If he is saying that, means he did experience that in his life. He say, never lift away, take away the stick or the whip of mujahada, struggle against your ego, against yourself. Means always be in a fight with yourself. Whenever yourself ask, don't give. And this is, I heard that, I learned from Grand Sheikh. He said, whatever, he said, the child, boy or girl, they are the best example of ego. The best examples. Why? People, they say, oh, children are innocent. No, they are the best example, although they are innocent, as they are young, but they are the best example of ego. For us to learn that we are like that, our ego is like that. Why, doctor?
They want everything for themselves.
Because the child wants everything for himself or herself. And if you don't give, what they do? They cry. They disturb the whole house. If you are in a journey, they destroy your journey. So what parents they do? Give them. They make a mistake, he said. They make a mistake to give them. And most of children today are the best example of selfishness and egoism, because the parents, they are the parents' mistake. The parents give the children whatever they want. They never say to them no. And he said, it's still ringing in my ear, don't give the child what he wants. Let him cry. Cry is good for his health. Is that, doctor? Crying is good for the health of the child, because it opens his lungs. Let him cry. 1 hour, 2 hours. Leave him. Let him cry. Cry. Until he is exhausted or she is exhausted, they will drop that, what they want, and they forget about it. Then if you want to give, you give. Not to give when they are asking. Give when they are not asking. That's the stake on this, on our ego. It's like that, our ego. Our ego keeps crying from within, keep crying, asking you, do it, you do it, do it, do it. As Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam was eating because of us, was eating, not because of him. He's a prophet, Ma'soom. But we were pushing him, eat, 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 eat. He didn't want, he refused. What we did? And finally we got exhausted also. All these atoms, all these children of Adam that they are in him, we moved, we made a conspiracy against him within him by coming all of us united and moving his hand toward that tree to eat from the tree. He didn't eat, we ate. So mujahada, he's saying that you have to raise the stick, the whip, against yourself, struggling with yourself, trying to keep it quiet. Like a horse. You whip. Sometimes the horse knows you are whipping for running. You are whipping for stopping. You are whipping for this, whipping for that. If we are going to leave our ego loose, it's like how we are leaving our children loose. We don't tell them anything. It become in their future, they become a problem for them in their future. They become aggressive. They become no discipline. They be raised on all this selfishness. They go drug addicts. They go all kind of problems because you were not firm with them at the beginning. Don't spoil them. Don't listen to those who say, leave them to their nature. Now new studies, they say, leave the children, do what they like to do. You see them breaking the glass, carrying a glass and going to break. Well, no problem. Yeah. After 2 minutes it fall and break. And they don't say anything. They don't shout even at them. They take the pieces of glass and they throw it. And as if the child didn't do anything. It's okay. This is how we are spoiling them when they are growing up. This is how we spoil our ego. That's what they call it in spirituality, tasawwuf, طفل النفس المذمومة. The childish act of the ego that you raised it. And who raised that? You raised it. And who raised it in it before you is your mother and your father. They are responsible. So responsibility will come to you. He said, raise the whip against yourself. With continuous mujahada against the ego, against the self, against the spirit, will open its eyes on these open eyes, like today, people of Houston, if they didn't have these broadcasting TV stations and seeing when that hurricane is, when it's landing, what time and where, a lot of people would have died, no? They saved people. You want to save yourself? Let your ego to open its eyes. And to open its eyes is by struggling against its wishes. What the self asks, you do the opposite. Don't give. I tell you a story. Might be some people, they might not like it, but especially some mothers and some fathers. But this is a symbolic. It's a real story, but for us to be. So, one person came to Grand Sheikh, may Allah bless his soul. He said, "Oh my Sheikh, I need you to help me in this. Before we come to this, when they opened our eyes to the hurricane, everyone took shelter. When you open the eyes of your ego to its mistakes, then it goes and take a shelter. Then it will leave you alone. So how to open its eyes? By keep struggling, whipping it. What it asks, say the opposite. So that man came to Grand Sheikh, may Allah bless his soul. And he said, "Oh my Sheikh, I need you to help me in this." I was there. He said, "What? Why do you want me to help you?" He said, "I have a child that always, I'm trying to clean him, but always peeing under himself. And his age now is not young. It's like 5 years. I cannot go anywhere, take him with me. He pee under himself. And I am worried because I have another son that his brother is older than him, and he's the same thing. I'm worried for both of them. This one is 7, this one is 5. What I have to do?" When we have something like that, what you do? You go to the doctor to check if something wrong is not, or else what you do? You have to suffer. Huh? Listening?
Yes.
Anyone sleeping? Yeah. You like that story?
Yes.
You see? When it comes to something like that, children likes that. That's ego. They like to hear what they like, what is not nice. What is nice, they don't like to hear. Who cares for it? This is ego in ourselves. It's a good example. They are hearing. If I'm speaking about a story of something else, they don't pay attention. But I said P, oh, everyone attends. Is this in Tariqa also, Tahir?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Sharia. So he came to Grand Shaykh and said, "Oh my Shaykh, can you help me?" He said, if you do what I say, in 1 week it's over." He was happy. He said, "Of course I will do. Am I going to beat them?" He said, "No. To beat them, threaten them with whip, make them to fear that I'm going to beat them." He said, "No, something else." He said, "Oh my Sheikh, you are making me anxious. I'm happy now. They are going to this problem to be solved. What I have to do?" He said, "So simple. You promise you do as I say?" He said, "Yes, I promise." He said, "Okay. Whenever they pee, you take their pants or whatever they pee in, what is this?
Bring it out. Bring it.
Wring it out, and what is come, put it in a cup. And let every child drink that cup." 1 day, 2 days, finish. No more. Why? The ego didn't like that. Ego didn't like that. Might be if you beat, still the ego will accept, but this, the ego will never accept. Look, in their actions there is wisdom. Not he is only talking to him, he is giving him a remedy, but to those who were there and listening, they understand that our ego is like that. Today, when they want to, you have an infection, you give you check what kind of infection, and you give special antibiotic against it. Might be from the same family, but it become like poison for that infection. So you cure with the poison. Even it is poison, it cured. Ego, you have to give the poison where the ego doesn't like. So what ego doesn't like is when you don't listen to it. That's what the ego doesn't like. Doesn't like you ever. Don't think your ego likes you. Your ego wants to destroy you. So if someone wants to destroy you, what you do? You are always alert. Today, if you have enemies around, you put alarm system to your home. You put bodyguards to your home, preparing yourself against any enemy. Are we putting bodyguards against our ego? No, whatever it is asking, we give. So when the eyes of the ego open by struggling against yourself, it opens its eyes, and the gossips that it throws in your heart will froze, and its ignorance will disappear. And Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani said, if you follow my advice for 1 hour, not more, وهذا ما يجيء بمجاهدة ساعة. Only 1 hour. If you try to do what I said, raising the stick against your ego, struggling with it, don't let it to raise its head. Its eyes will open, its mouth will be frozen, and its ignorance will disappear. And in 1 hour of struggling like that, you will find your heart begin to like that, because you begin to feel that inspirations. فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا. Inspire the self, what is bad for it and what is good. You will see the goodness beginning to come inside, badness going to disappear. And this is 1 hour after hour, you begin to increase. He said, ساعة بعد ساعة ويوم بعد يوم وسنة بعد سنة. hour after hour, day after day, year after year, you begin to escalate in an ascension, mi'raj. He said, طوبى لعبد مال قلبه إلى المجاهدة. Good tidings for someone whose heart inclining towards mujahada, struggle against the self. وويل لعبد مال قلبه إلى الشهوات. And ويل, woe to someone that his heart inclined to bad desires. Choose. You want your heart to go to bad desires, to incline toward bad desires, or you want your heart to incline toward good struggle against the self, which is good mujahada. That one, struggle against your ego, will take you to Allah's divine presence. Listening to your bad desires, it takes you to shaitan's way. Choose and go. There is no middle way. There is no middle way. But we are in middle way. One day summa amanu, one day summa kafar. One day we struggle, and one day we are on the verge of iman. One day we are on the verge of on the left side. I cannot say it with shaitan. May Allah protect us from shaitan.
Ameen.
If you follow like that, then you will enter my book. He say, oh, what's that? تعلموا شيئا ما عندكم منه خبر ادخلوا كتابي. Learn something that you don't know about it. Enter my book. Like today they have Guinness Book. For what? For all garbage. What they have Guinness Book? You know about Guinness Book? What is Guinness Book? No one knows? World records? Yeah. There is no Akhirah records? There is no book for Akhirah records? They didn't do one. Only they have for dunya record. If someone ate a snake, if someone ate a scorpion, if someone entered in a glass and all snake around him and all. It's not Abdul Haq?
No.
This is what Guinness Book. Someone went into water and was able to go for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 8 minutes. One jumped from the window. One jumped from the Allah knows from where to where. That's Guinness Book. There is no Akhirah record book. He said, come to my book. I will show you the secrets of my book. Oh Muslim, you are tariqah. You are people of the way. You are Gnostics. Come to the book of our Shaykh, our Shuyukh. Come to Sultan al-Awliya, Sayyid Shaykh Muhammad Nazim Haqqani book. Come to Grand Shaykh's book. Come to all these Grand Shaykh's books, all the way to Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Enter in their books. See what kind of secrets there. And try to make a record for your akhirah in their books. He said, for the heart, I have a book for you. For secrets, I have a book for you. For secrets of secrets, I have a book for you. For hidden lata'if, I have a book for you. Try run to it quickly, because time is short. Life is short. You don't know when you go. Come to the book of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Enter the Holy Quran. You will find what you need. but come, don't hesitate. Alhamdulillah, those who are here are coming already. What we are going to say more than that. We are trying our best. We are weak servant. What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to be, it's His decision. He shows us what is good, what is bad. Follow what is good and drop what is bad. And we ask Ya Rabbi, for the sake of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his companions and Al-Khulafa Al-Rashidun and Awliyaullah, not to leave us alone.
Ameen.
Keep us with their company.
Ameen.
Dunya and Akhirah.
Ameen.
And we are weak, helpless. You don't help us. No one can help us. Help us for your love of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. For that love, Ya Rabbi. Ya Rabbi. حرمة الحبيب وارزقنا شفاعته يوم القيامة في الدنيا وفي الآخرة واجمعنا به يا ربي يا رب واجمعنا بأوليائك الكرام واجعلنا يا رب منهم واجعلنا على أعتابهم حرمة الحبيب وحرمة الفاتح واشفنا واشف مرضانا ومرضى المسلمين وامن بعمر إدراك عصر صاحب الزمان سيدنا محمد المهدي عليه السلام وسيدنا عيسى عليه السلام حرمة الفاتح. We pray Zuhur, after Zuhur 10 minutes Hadra another time and then Yallah.